No, he's only been here twice, I guess, because he was here last Wednesday too. But
he's always in your heart.
Oh yeah, no, I'm talking about in the house though.
Oh, like physically.
Yeah, but I'll tell you what. Like as soon as he moved out, I tore all the carpet out of his room, and I cleaned it, and I moved my bookshelves up into there, and I'm slowly working on getting the rest of my bookshelves in there so I can start tearing apart the basement.
Good, because don't get me wrong, love your son. His cat, on the other hand,
yeah, it's been a war trying to get rid of the smell down there.
Yeah.
Oh, you should use Nature's Miracle. Do you use Nature's Miracle?
Is that like fire or something? I don't know what.
No, it's like a clean. My mom uses it for the cats. It's like a cleaning chemical. It gets rid of like animal like urine and poop smell.
What's it called?
Nature's Miracle.
All right, I'll have to look.
You can buy it in you can buy it in gallon jugs, and you can put it in shampooers.
Ooh.
Yeah, pretty fucking sweet.
Have to look into that.
Oh yay! It's fireworks season again.
Oh yeah, we are getting close to that.
Well, this is Memorial weekend, so
yeah. So technically, when it's Memorial Day weekend when we are recording, when this episode comes out, is literally like a week away from
before 4th of July.
Yeah, literally a week before 4th of July. So yeah, we are well into fireworks all the time. Yay!
I'm telling you, it will hide the sound of my shotgun when I go blast people for shooting off fireworks when I'm trying to sleep.
That's fun.
That's a joke for legal reasons.
Parody.
Yeah.
I live right down the road from a very popular baseball camp that shoots off fireworks. Used to be once a week, and now it's like a rotating schedule, and they shoot them off like 2 or 3 times a week. Yeah. And they shoot them pretty much right over my house, and they like shake the house.
We had when our druggy neighbors lived next door, they would buy the like loudest ones ever, and they would go off literally above our house, and it was very terrifying for Emily because she, ex-army, she did like 3 tours,
like hardcore,
and she hated it.
That's understandable.
Yeah, so yeah, it was great.
PTSD coming out.
Nice. It was to the point where she was on the floor in the fetal position, that like, especially with the big boomers, crying. It was terrible. Yeah.
Yeah, I had a teacher. I think I told this story. I don't remember. I had a teacher when I was in college who was in Vietnam, and his job was like scout. So he would just get sent out into the woods by himself, or the jungle in this case, by himself, and they wouldn't know if he was coming back, but he would like recon and stuff. And then he would have PTSD every once in a while, and the students could figure out how to make the stovetops pop. And every time they'd go off, he'd hit the ground every time.
That's so fucked up.
It was real fucked up. But man, everybody else except for me thought it was very, very funny. I would never laugh at such a thing because that's just rude. Thank you for your service. Shout out to our forces.
Really? Couldn't get through that, huh?
I almost did. I was almost there. Anyway, he drank heavily all the time.
So. Yeah, I wonder why.
Yeah. I mean, I've never even been to war, and I still do that every now and then.
Yeah, he had custom pockets put in his chef coats to hold his flask. So
nice.
Yeah, that was cooking whiskey, and
yeah. Speaking of reasons to drink, brothers, sisters, gender resistors, welcome to another episode of the Comic Book Rundown presents Rundown Reviews. I, of course, the man who did this introduction.
4 minutes into the show.
I'm Chuck. And I am, of course, joined by my comrade, my cohorts, and my co-conspirators, Joe, and Ron. I put you together, Jean.
Jean was my father. Who's dead?
Yeah, way to bring up an open wound there, Chuck. Jeez.
It's like Ron and Joe, Jean. Well, the other way around would be Joe and Ron would be Sean. Yeah. I got those.
Joe will be Roe.
That's true. It'd be Roey. Roey? I don't like Roey as much.
Now Rosef.
Roey.
Yeah, Rosef. Roasted beef.
Oh,
Ooh, I like that. That's good.
Joseph and
What the hell?
Donald.
Anyway, let's get back on track.
So we watched
Michael.
a
Why? Because the movie we
mediocre-
watched was on track the whole time with no issue.
a super
Josh?
mediocre excuse for a movie.
Yeah,
We watched the Fantastic Four.
yeah, Fantastic Four from 2015, or otherwise known as Fan Four Stick, otherwise known as Why.
Yeah,
Actually, I know why.
because they needed to keep the rights to the movie.
Correct. Yeah.
This one was on par with the '94 Fantastic Four, I think.
I don't know. I feel like the '94 one actually had a plot.
That's true, and they had awesome costumes for the characters.
Yeah, they actually had costumes. This one, like the costume choices
Was
here,
Ben naked the whole time?
basically,
His
yeah,
rock cock just like hanging.
would have been, yeah, and that, yeah. He had no pants. Like the choice to give him no pants and no boots. I don't know why.
Also, why did they keep lighting Killmonger on fire?
Reasons.
I mean, is it because we found out, like, until the very end of the movie, he actually wasn't necessarily a bad guy?
I mean, I never thought Killmonger was a bad guy anyway. But
I mean,
we'll get there eventually.
Yeah.
I mean, he's like 90% not a bad guy.
But also, it's really weird seeing Killmonger before he went through puberty.
Yeah, seeing a very young Michael B. Jordan, considering I just watched Sinners like a month and a half ago, and him being all like, I don't know, svelte is just him being all like baby faced in this movie versus what he is now, a decade later, is just like, wow, that's a very young Michael B. Jordan.
Makes a bit of a difference.
It really does.
Having also just watched Sinners, when did Michael B. Jordan learn how to act finally?
After this movie.
I think the same thing, but like I'll be honest, I find him a little dull in Black Panther too. Very like one note character. Now, granted, I was told that was kind of the point.
Actually,
but
I think Creed Creed was, I'm not gonna say his blowout role, because I believe Chronicle was the role that really like his standout role. Because I think
is that
Josh,
the found footage superhero movie?
Yes, which came out before this. Josh Trank, who directed this movie, directed Chronicle, I believe.
I've never heard of it.
Oh, it's good. You'd like it.
Could be.
If you liked Cloverfield, you would like that.
It is on our list because it's
either.
It's a superhero-esque movie, so it is going to be on our list. But it came out in 2012, so it's going to be a while before we get to it. But Michael B. Jordan is in that, and that is kind of the beginning of his, I guess you could say, his acting career. At least I think it is. I could be completely off base here. And it is. I'm double checking that real quick because I want to make sure that I'm not. No, okay, yeah, he is in that. And so Josh Trank had become friends with Jordan, Michael B. Jordan, and he brought him over to this one specifically. He wanted him in this movie, and so I think between those two movies, like, he's getting his acting. He's becoming a better actor. He's starting to go places, and then he gets Creed, and then he gets Black Panther, and then he's just like, sky's the limit.
I think the problem with this movie is that none of the characters had real characters. Like,
oh no, well, see, here's the thing. The problem with this movie is that there's no chemistry with the characters.
Well, that too. Like, none of them seemed like they even wanted to be near each other at all, ever. The guy that played, like, Ben's character had no character. Like, there was just nothing to him. He had no personality. He was just there because they needed to have him there.
Yeah, and like, isn't that like kind of the thing with like the Fantastic Four, is like Ben is kind of the only one who has like emotion? Like, that's the whole thing, is he's this big scary rock monster thing, but he legitimately loves and cares for people, and like and is like a tough brute, yes, but like isn't that like kind of the whole catch? Is like he's kind of the lovable, sympathetic one
He's
who
kind of
with
the
a
heart
heart
of the
with
Fantastic Four. Yeah.
yeah, and then like Reed is like the autistic, only looks at the science and is like
Dude, all right, and
very specifically
like
doesn't.
Reed in this movie was a one-note character. Like he had seriously no like inflection, or it was just terrible. It was terrible watching it. And then they tried to make Sue like edgy,
They
and
try
it
to
just,
make Sue like a granola crunch lesbian. That's what it felt like.
could you explain that term to us?
A granola crunch lesbian? Yeah, like
Yeah.
okay, like your stereotypical lesbian who likes hiking and drives a Subaru and like is like strong environmentalist and progressive. Like it was like what that she was what straight people think that version of a lesbian is. That's what it felt like.
Oh.
Okay.
Yeah. Granola crunch lesbians.
Interesting.
And then
Not to be
obviously
confused with like a U-Haul lesbian. That's very different.
you had Victor, who was the like anti-government kind of edgy, except he wasn't, because he was definitely in bed with the one dude that was part of the company. And then
Which guy?
the Buster Scraggs. I can't think. I don't know what the actor's name is. The scrawny little white dude that
The head
was,
military guy who was like trying to get them to
he was
figure
part of the
shit out.
board for the Baxter building. That like he was the one that kept trying to push him into military stuff.
You talk about what's his name from Incredible Hulk? Tim Nelson.
Is he the scrawny little white dude that sounds like a hillbilly?
I don't know. The one.
Did you watch the same movie that we watched?
Yes,
there was only one dude from the board that kept pestering them.
The one that kept like talking to Franklin.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes. What's this? Timothy? Because he's in the new. Shut up. He's in the new. Tim Blake Nelson. He's in the new Captain America movie.
Sure. Yeah, that guy.
Yeah, you didn't see it. Anyway, whatever. Okay. Yeah. No, he was not in bed with him. There was a moment. I know the moment you talk about where
they kept eye fucking each other from across.
And yeah, he looks at them and they kind of like nod at each other. No, he does not. He does not want anything to do with the government. Victor does not want anything to do with the government interfering with their stuff. That's why he left. And he was very against when they came in, and Dr. Allen is his name. No, his
name was Victor Von Doom.
No, the other guy, the scrawny white guy that you were talking about.
Okay. I know this was like written in the 60s or whatever, but like, are you really going to trust anybody whose last name is Von Doom? Like, I feel like if at any point they could have like fucking just done just piss anybody off,
or just make it DHOM or something like that,
or just like call it something else and then be like, oh, my ancestor's name is Von Doom, so I'm going to take that mantle. Or something stupid like that, but like his name is Dr. Doom. Okay, fine. Which also, he's not a doctor, I don't think, is he?
No, he was still a little teenage punk ass kid.
Well, they weren't teenagers. They were like 20. Well,
I'm pretty sure they were all teenagers.
They were in high school going into college.
Yeah, they were in high school.
I don't know if he was in high school, if Doom was in high school. He may have been.
Oh, so he was the creepy,
college.
like mid-20-year-old dude that's hitting on the 18-year-old girl that's in high school still?
Maybe?
I mean, that is pretty evil. So that would be
that's fair, yeah.
It's a very Von Doom thing to do.
I was reading in the IMDb at one point, so they did base a lot of the script off of the Ultimate Fantastic Four run, and they were actually going to change his name to something else. Like, it wasn't going to be Von Doom. It was going to be like Doom something.
Victor
like
von Streusel.
DOM something else, and I can't.
Doomsday.
No, stop it.
Doomstein,
Something like that.
Doomshire.
And so in that way, and he was still going to be from Latveria, and that way you wouldn't have that problem of being like, his name is Von Doom. Gee, I wonder if he's going to be a bad guy, So,
and then we had Dr. Storm, who was like the Fantastic Fury. Like, my last wish is for you kids to love each other. Ugh.
Yeah.
It's
amazing that he was able to get those last words out after Victor was able to burn him alive, but
everybody else that Victor even looked at. Also, what the fuck is with his telekinetic radiation powers?
No idea.
No
idea.
Were they just like, we need something that'll make him basically invincible and
make it different,
Okay, so was it okay? They all got shot into space, and they all get like rated. No, I know, but like originally in the original story.
Yeah.
Okay, so
Doom was with them?
OG. No, okay, so OG 60s story. The 4 of them go into space. Yes, they go into space to be the first ones into space. Or the first ones to the moon, and on their way to the moon, they get bombarded with some rays, and they become Fantastic Four. In the Ultimate line, they don't have Doom with them in the original. Doom comes later, like down the line. I don't know when, but sometime later. In the Ultimate line, Doom is working with them. They are all friends. Ben is a friend of Reed's, like this, and he does come when they are testing the transporter, and he gets caught up in the explosion. And I can't remember if they get transported to the other dimension and then get brought back, and then that's how they get the powers, because it's been forever since I've read the Ultimate line. But I do remember the Ultimate Marvel line is amazing. It was fantastic until they decided to end it for reasons. But yeah, in that one, they were all friends. Doom was part of that line, part of that friendship. And then he became evil. I'm going to say, I can't exactly remember how. I can't exactly remember why. But he wanted to save his country, protect his country. And if anybody's listening that remembers, wants to let me know, please do. Thing is, as soon as we're done with this, I may just go. It's literally sitting right there. Like, I see it right there, but so far away.
Right. Okay. So I guess my question is then, I was always under the impression that Doom used magic. Does he have actual powers? I always thought he was like a magic dude. That was always like the thing.
So I don't fully know.
I thought a lot of his shit was like robots and stuff.
He does a lot of Doom bots. I do know that.
Yeah, I know the Doom bots, but I always thought like specifically him was like that he was actually a magic based like villain. And that was what made him different than everybody else.
I thought his power was just that he generated some kind of like electricity or some kind of power that he could like make things.
Like, I know in the 05 and 07 or 09 or whatever the second one was, that movie, that was electric base, because that's just the way they played it. I don't recall, and maybe it was magic. Again, I never read the OG Fantastic Four with Doom in it when they had Doom in it. Those comics I read with him in it, they didn't really I don't think they used his power set a lot. From the one comics we read on the show, I just remember him controlling Sue somehow. because everybody controls Sue.
I mean, he
somehow.
also carried a gun, so
Yeah,
you know what I mean. Like,
multiple times.
All right. Originally, Doctor
Thank you.
Doom had energy absorption, projection, technopathy, like controlling technology
Machines.
with his mind,
Which explain the
dimensional
Doom
travel, and accelerated healing.
Okay.
but his whole thing was he was deformed, right, or something. That's why he wore.
Yeah,
the
which
mask?
is why he wore the mask.
Yeah.
Gotcha. Okay.
Because they put it on upside down first, and they had to pull it off and put it back on. And
Right.
All right.
Okay, so I actually don't. Okay, I remember when this movie came out. I didn't see it when it came out, and this came out in 2015.
Yes.
By the way, happy birthday, Joe. This is the
Hey,
whole
thank
reason
you.
why we're watching this
Yeah,
movie.
this is my birthday pick.
Yeah, and I remember thinking that everybody was mad about it, or I'm remembering that everybody was mad about how shitty this movie was, to the point where, I mean, granted, it was 2015 on the internet, so take it with all a grain of salt. But people were like, "This is the death of anything that isn't Disney."
Okay, so yes, because this is Marvel. The MCU was established. We've already had Phase 1. Avengers, the first Avengers movie is out. That was out in 2012. We are well into Phase 2 right at this point in time. Phase 2, I would say, is going strong. I've got to use air quotes there because Phase 2 was a little lackluster, if I'm being honest.
That was like Thor: Dark World or whatever, and
Thor: Dark World.
Iron Man 3.
Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't until like Guardians of the Galaxy where things like kind of repaired
It's
itself.
picked up a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Speaking of, so Ben looks like an older Tom Holland.
he does. Jamie Bell, yes, he did. He really does.
Yeah, he does. Yeah.
He actually did try out for Spider-Man at one point, I guess.
That would have been awful. He
kinda
can't
fun.
act.
It would have been amazing. The Amazing Spider-Man, so the 2012.
Oh, would it have been
Spider-Man.
amazing? Since
No, it sounds like it'd probably been
been.
pretty mediocre. Yeah.
Oh.
the mediocre arachnid kid.
Terrible.
No, sounds like a great cartoon.
So
sounds like a great T-shirt.
Here's the so here's the thing. The movie was made. It was being made, and the script was written, and I've got what the draft of the script, the first script, or maybe the script that the director wanted. They have it on IMDb, and it actually sounds pretty damn good. But as I've actually been talking about on a different podcast, the what if of what was written down and the what we got are always, the what if is always better than what we got, you know? So that being said, where was I going with this? What was my point of this? Oh, so the
Hold
fans.
on, let me.
Thank you. The fans. I think a combination of reshoots, like months before the movie was supposed to be released, and you could tell the reshoots in this movie because there are scenes with Miles Teller where he has got
Miles Teller.
He was Reed Richards.
Oh, okay.
Where he
I
has
like
got
him in Whiplash.
Like a scraggly beard, and the very next scene he's clean shaven, and it's just like, you're supposed to be going from one room into the next. Why are you?
I thought
Whiplash was
well, you thought what?
I thought Whiplash was Mickey Rourke.
Nah,
Rooney. I don't know whatever the hell his name is. The big dude.
That's
no, the movie Whiplash. It's the drums.
Oh yeah, no, the cartoon character Whiplash, like in Iron Man 2.
He was a comic book character.
Or was that 3?
Those two.
It was two. That's when the power of friendship defeats any evil. Remember?
That's right.
Yeah. We'll get there.
So okay, when they reran the machine before it was getting taken away or whatever, Why did they go without Sue? What kind of dick bags?
They're drunk as fuck.
Sure. And you could have just been like, hey, baby, you want to ride into another dimension with me?
What really gets me is why is Sue's computer the only one that alerted that the machine was going off? Why did no other computer in that building alert?
Maybe she had an alert set up from her computer in the lab to her laptop.
Well, why was no other computer? If
maybe that was her building, maybe that was her job.
But you're telling me that whole building, which was probably specifically like focused on making that thing work, or majority of the people there was focusing on making that project. No one else was going to have alerts for that. Franklin was not going to have an alert for that set up at any point on any of his devices.
Franklin was busy dealing with the little white dude.
Yeah. Obviously not enough because he didn't get down there in time to stop anything from happening.
True.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Also, can we talk about how much of a coward Reed was running away like a little bitch? And he didn't even accomplish anything while he was gone.
Yeah, like it would have been one of those things if he had gone away specifically to actually figure something out,
or something.
But you're right. He didn't actually get anywhere. He barely had himself in order by the time that he got found in a year.
They could have absolutely done his villain arc from this story right here.
Yeah. Yeah, you're not wrong.
Yeah, he does not do a good job. Like, the one thing that has kind of always been really done well with Reed in the comics, from the few that I've read, is like gotten the grief that Reed feels for like fucking Ben up. Like, I feel like that's always like the one thing that's always kind of been consistent and right, is that Reed holds a lot of guilt for like ruining Ben and turning Ben into this like rock monster.
Yeah.
And like it does, like he says that he's sorry, but I am not convinced in his acting at all in this movie that he gave two shits.
Well, he did because it was his only friend, and then he didn't want to talk to him, and so he lost out. So he felt bad for himself, not for Ben.
That's true. Yeah.
Also, another thing.
Honestly, Ben kind of justified him being a fucking like asshole to him the whole time.
100%.
Oh yeah, I don't disagree with that. I'm just saying that he had no character built. Like he had no.
Right. No, I agree.
Well, it's like I said before, these characters, the actors had no chemistry with each other, so I do not believe that they had a friendship for one.
Yeah,
actually worked together at all.
Because Ben was always more like his character was more along the lines of "I'm just here." Like Reed's doing all this stuff, I'm just here, and then we lose him for half the movie, and then he comes back for
Well, and for when he calls him up, when Reed calls him up to be like, "Hey, we're going to go do this, and I want you there." Why is Ben all of a sudden? Yeah, okay. Like, why is he not like asking any question at all? Like, what are you talking about?
Beware for what? Since we don't talk to each other anymore.
Yeah, I haven't talked to you in months. What are you talking about?
Also, his brother saying it's clobbering time before he beats him was kind of stupid.
So I had heard a rumor before this movie came out. Somebody had told me that something about that scene was a little more was going to be a little different. I never ever got that feeling. Something along the lines of being a sexual harassment. I never got that feeling. So, yeah, exactly. So I don't know. That was one of the things of like, why is this in the movie? But it never came to be that way. So I'm glad it was never in this movie.
I can't imagine.
Did they ever make a Fantastic Four sex parody called the Fucktastic Four? Because I feel like if they haven't, they missed out.
Sure, that probably. They probably had like a Fantastic Four XXX. I mean, come on.
No, it's got to be the Fucktastic Four. And instead of saying it's clobber
or Fantastic Fuck, come on.
It's slobber in time.
It's cumberling time.
Okay.
It's clobbering time in that pussy.
Yeah, so that's all the notes I have, because honestly, I had a really hard time paying attention to the movie also, because it is slow, but then the fast-paced parts are also slow.
It's the movie itself. Like, I enjoyed the first act, which is
like when he was a little kid.
Well, up until I would say up until they get their powers. Or no, yeah, around the time they get their powers, or around the time they go to the planet, the other dimension, and then the second act, which I would say around the time Doom comes back. The second act is it's fine. Didn't really go anywhere, but it just felt, I don't know, it felt too long, like it stretched out too far, too much. Yeah, okay. And then the third act just was just terrible. They shoved too much in there too quickly, and then Doom just really ruined it, just because I have no idea what they were trying to do with him.
They weren't trying to do anything. They just needed a villain, and they needed action, since we hadn't gotten any of that
literally anything.
the whole movie. And then the action we do get is sad and pathetic, and not even worth really.
I will say, when we get to the kill count, I will say this, that the action when Doom does open up the portal to bring over all of the raw material from Earth to the other dimension, and he's just sucking up like the base and the cars and all the people. He killed hundreds of people.
It's only one though.
It's all one kill. Yes, no, I know that.
Yeah,
but like, the Fantastic Four didn't do shit in saving those people at all.
They saved the world though, so it's fine.
I'm just saying. Also, the fact that it took a device to jump to another dimension, but now they just fly through space.
Well, they went through the dimensional, because he left the portal open, and they said earlier that if he did that, it would start to suck things in from the real world through the portal, and then they went through that.
Yeah.
Was this supposed to be Battle World? Is that what this was supposed to be? Is that what the planet? He makes his own. He has his own planet for a hot minute. That was called Battle World.
In Battle World, yeah, but I don't think that came out until like 17. I thought.
Oh, really? I don't know.
I thought.
I don't read comics.
Thanks.
I don't. I mean, like, I buy a bunch.
Sure.
I'll say you read more than I do, probably.
So I would like to.
I'm averaging about a book a year.
Okay, maybe I do read a little more.
Yeah.
I would like to read to you guys what the original draft of the script that Josh Trank and Jeremy Slater wrote for what they wanted for the first film.
Okay.
The original script is closer to the MCU in tone. The script features the origins of the Fantastic Four, Doctor Doom, Galactus, Mole Man, Herbie the Robot, and the Fantastic Car. Ben is still Reed's muscle, keeping him safe from bullies. This aspect makes Reed's decision to bring Ben along on the trip to the negative zone make more sense.
True.
Reed goes to the Baxter Building as part of a science scholarship. There he meets Sue, who is working with a Dr. Elder, who is on the cutting edge of his biology field, making moloids. Reed also meets Victor Von Doom, who takes the nerdy Reed to parties where he meets and falls for Sue. Meanwhile, Ben has become sad as Reed has stopped calling him, and he has made a choice. He's skipping college and has enlisted in the army. There's no older Dr. Storm character, Sue calls her brother Johnny as a last resort when they're about to take their trip to the negative zone. Victor Von Doom is actually a spy for his homeland of Latveria and is leaking Reed's research to them. When the team uses their quantum gate, it's because their school refuses to let them use it, which causes the team to use it under the cover of night. Reed calls in Ben, the person he trusts the most, even if their relationship is strained. Sue is staying behind, Johnny helping her man the controls from this side of the portal. Ben gets promised that he'll be the first human to step foot on the other side of the portal. When they go into the negative zone, they find an alien city with its entire population dead. They also find their destroyer, Galactus. Galactus seemingly kills Victor with dark matter, while Reed and Ben make it to the module, but it's not working. On the other side of the portal, Sue is working feverishly to fix the circuitry that won't allow the module to return home. Galactus nears as Sue finally fixes the machine, and he blasts the module with dark matter. But the dark matter hits the quantum gate, and there's a reaction, and the entire team, the two in the module and the two in the lab, are pelted with some kind of cosmic madness. The scene of the team waking up in the wreckage is similar here, with Johnny on fire screaming and Ben trapped in stone. Sue's condition is more obvious, though, with the skin on her face disappearing and showing her musculature. The script jumps ahead 4 years instead of 1, where Johnny becomes a reality TV star. Sue goes back to medicine and uses her invisibility powers to look inside of patients suffering from serious cancers. Dr. Elder wants her to come work on the Moloid program, but Sue won't. She thinks it'll be weaponized. Reed is in hiding because he blames himself for the destruction caused at the Baxter Building, where he has built a Herbie robot while trying to sell the fantastic car to Toyota, and Ben is working for the military. Meanwhile, Latveria creates their own quantum gate thanks to the information that Victor sent them. They send a team through, only Doom returns, however, and takes over the country with his powers, now acting as Galactus' herald. Sue has been trying to cure Ben using her cancer research, but it isn't working. Victor's people, called shock troopers, who are armed with futuristic weapons, attack Reed in Indonesia. When he notices that the weapons are based on his designs, Reed realizes that this has to be Victor's work and that he's still alive. After failing to contact Sue, he uses a fantastic car and flies to the Baxter Building, bringing Herbie along as well. At the same time, shock troopers attack Sue and Johnny at the Baxter Building. During the fight, Dr. Elder is accidentally transformed into the Mole Man. While Johnny and Sue fight the soldiers, a Moloid comes into contact with dark matter and becomes a giant creature. When Reed finally arrives, the giant creature bursts out of the ground. Ben, who happens to be nearby looking at puppies in a pet shop window, hears the commotion and runs over. The team engage the giant Moloid and the battle ends when Ben gets swallowed and tries to fight his way out. When he finally gets to the Moloid's mouth, he sees that Reed has slingshotted a bus at the creature and Johnny has set it on fire, and it is heading right towards the mouth and Ben. The rest of the script has the team coming together to go to Latveria, now the center of an international incident because Victor has built a giant dark energy cannon. He intends to use it to destroy Galactus. It seems that Victor's only chance at survival is a negative zone. Survival in the negative zone was to act as Galactus' herald and to help him find a new world to eat, Earth. But Von Doom intends to destroy the Destroyer before that can happen. The team uses their powers in more ways in the script, and Sue especially gets a lot to do. She helps Reed escape from government captivity after the Moloid battle, and she's able to create a force shield that reduces wind resistance on the Fantastic Car and allows it to reach incredible speeds. Reed uses his powers to become a living airbag in a crash. He survives the grenade attack, and in the end, his biggest contribution to the final fight is Herbie. The final battle is in Latveria, but it is revealed that the shape-shifting Doom there is a Doombot. Victor is actually physically attached to the planet in the negative zone and has set tendrils of his being to Earth. The film ends with him trapped in the negative zone, the Fantastic Four telling the government Galactus is coming, and the retooling of the Baxter Building as their home base and a school for smart kids who can help defeat the coming menace of Galactus. This version of the script was rejected by 20th Century Fox as it would have been too expensive, which is why they hired Simon Kinberg to rewrite the film, resulting in the final version that we saw.
Wow. It went from something that probably would have been decent to
Trash.
less than mediocre.
Yeah, exactly. Like everything they said there, and mind you, what we got, in 2015, the movies we were getting, they were setting up for sequels in literally every comic book movie. So they set up for the Mole Man for a potential sequel, Galactus for a potential sequel. I'm not saying it's a bad thing, but it can get, when you have multiple villains in a movie, especially what is a reboot, it can get overwhelming. And I can see why they could be like, hey, this is too much.
No, but they could have definitely split it into a couple movies. We could have still gotten the Mole Man arc with Dr. Elder, and then they fight Doom. We find out that Doom was actually the Herald for Galactus.
You don't need the Galactus stuff. Yeah.
And then the next movie could have been that whole thing. And
there's a lot there that could have been good.
But instead
was the original 2004, 2005? Was that supposed to be a trilogy?
I don't know if it was supposed to be a trilogy. I mean, we'll find out when we get to it, but I feel like after the first one, they were hoping to get a sequel, but after the second one kind of flopped, they were like, well, let's redo this in 7 years.
It wasn't great. Okay.
It was not.
I don't hate that. I love Mole Man, so I would have been jazzed to see him in this. But I don't think we would have gotten the version that I actually like, which is the really campy, cartoonish evil version.
Honestly, I don't know if we'll ever get that version. But then again, we got MODOK not too long ago. So.
We did get that version of him. But it was just in The Incredibles.
That is true.
First off, the MODOK that we got was atrocious. That was very bad.
Wait. The stop motion.
The one from Ant-Man and Wasp.
Because the stop motion animation was actually kind of fun.
That one was amazing. I loved that. I unapologetically loved that. I'm a big.
We should cover that on the show at some point in time.
Yeah, it was very good, and I was really bummed that it got canceled.
We should bring back small screen rundown. Why have we done that? Oh wait, I'm the.
Because
I could do that.
It's you. You're the boss, man.
Yeah, I guess I could do that.
Oh, anyway, sure, Joey. Do you need more stuff to watch?
I don't. I've already had to pull back on some things. So, anyway.
Yeah. So, what's our kill count there, Joey?
Well, I'm not done. I got some other things to talk about.
Oh, sorry, my bad.
What else do I have to talk about? Yeah.
Your notes, man.
Right? He's like, I've got so many notes. I got to talk about things.
Well, so my last little thing I think I got here is with Johnny basically yelling at his dad. At the very beginning, we get him in his car crash, and his dad saying "You're gonna come work it off. I pay for your car. You go work it off." And then the accident happens, and Johnny is all for working for the military. And then his dad's basically saying, look, you need to listen to me. And Johnny's like, I did listen to you. This is why I'm here. And I'm in my head, I'm like, no, you actually listened to Reed and Victor. That's why you're here.
Because if his dad would have made him go to the building, he would have never been there to work on it with them, which means he would have never went into the negative zone, which means he would have never gotten transformed.
Yes, but those two drunk idiots had the idea of like, hey, let's go to the negative zone or to this other dimension.
Sure, but if he would have been doing his own thing out there racing cars and doing illegal shit, he would have never gotten superpowers.
I don't know.
Not wrong.
Anyway, that's all I got.
That's not true. You got a kill count for us.
I got a kill count. That's 14. Kill count of 14.
That's it?
Yeah, there wasn't a lot. Again, hundreds of people died.
No. I was just like, I thought he killed more people than that when he was going through and popping everybody's head.
Well, see, that's the thing. Because when he was doing that, I didn't see him. He did multiple times where it was like multiple groups. So I counted it as one. But there were times when like you would see the group, like you would see Reed walking through or Johnny walking through areas that we didn't see, but people are already down. I just assumed that, you can count those when he did the mass one, like that. Sure. That's my assumption. So I counted that all as one with the first one or the second one,
Gotcha. Oh, what about a limb count?
And then like the first 5 were from the video of Ben being attacking people when he got like dive bombed into wherever.
Yeah.
So like not a lot of deaths in this one. No limbs. I mean, unless you want to count the top of a tank. So,
nah.
Was it a sentient tank?
I don't think so.
Then no.
Yeah. Okay. So, on to bingo.
All right, we got product placement, villain monologue, dead parents, dying mentor, government interference, unexplainable science, comic logic, hero designs, costumes, because technically Sue did make their outfits for space, and they kind of went in those for a little bit. Doom got stuck in his, so betrayal by a friend.
Where did Doom get the capelet from?
Yeah, that's actually a good question.
It was part of his suit that got ripped out. But
it wasn't, because when the...
I know. It was a whole cloak, yeah. But we had betrayal by friend, we had animal cruelty, and inability to control powers.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's good.
What's our spawn cape there?
Okay. So like this doesn't look that bad. It was only 2015.
Only.
that was like 10 years ago. It doesn't. Listen, we've seen worse on this show.
We have.
From the 90s.
That being said, Ben looked terrible.
Agreed.
I think realistic Ben is a really dumb idea. And it looks strange. I did not like the way that Johnny looked when he was on fire.
Agreed.
That looked goofy. Reed, when he was stretching through the air duct,
was stupid.
Looked super bad. It didn't look great.
One thing that got me is just like when he was getting ready to stretch, when I think fighting Doom, I'm going to use the air quotes, fighting, it was really bad green screen. Like you could tell the background was like fake, because the shade was just terrible.
Well, that and they definitely weren't actually in the negative zone. So,
well, okay.
Yeah, and also Doom looked like a crash test dummy. Like he looked like the old crash test dummy, like cartoon characters or whatever.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, real bad. Yeah, like I think even if I remember in the 2004 one, I didn't really like the way Doom looked in it, but I really love the old iconic look of Doom. So I don't know.
Also, like one
I
thing
don't
they
know.
did do that I thought was pretty decent was when they were phasing Sue in and out of visibility. Like that looked pretty decent. But also turning things invisible is not that hard. All you have to do is have an outline. So I did not
Yeah,
like her
she was like kind of the
force
only thing that
fields
looked
though.
good.
Like the force
Yeah,
fields
first
I
of
didn't
all,
like though. I don't know. They just looked I mean, they looked chintzy. Like they looked like they didn't even put like, effort into the effects on those.
yeah, it
Yeah.
was strange. It was strange. I'm gonna say 100 out of 250,000. Come on, Capes. Ron can do the math on that one. Yeah, that's where I'm at.
Alrighty. Not a Muppet.
Not a Muppet.
I mean, it's
So
Ben. It's Ben,
yeah,
so we can watch him rip Muppets in half.
that's exactly what I
Yeah.
was gonna say because like I just want to
Or
see.
I was
or
gonna say.
Doom, and
I was
every
gonna
time
say
he snaps
Doom.
his fingers, people explode. Yeah,
Yeah, I
or
was gonna say
Muppets
Doom.
explode.
That way we can see skinny
Yeah.
white boy like just blow up.
Oh, that
But
would have been cool too. Yeah. But I
yeah,
like the idea of Ben killing Muppets a lot more.
Ben works. Yeah,
Yeah.
that one works.
Also, a Muppet Reed stretching would be really fucking funny.
I do like that one. Actually, that would work.
Yeah.
That would have
If
actually been better than what we got.
Yeah,
if
probably.
Sue if Sue goes if Sue's a Muppet and she turns invisible, do you just see the hand?
Yeah.
And it's like that. Just right. We can see you, Sue.
Hey,
It's like it reminds me of oh my god, fucking Rugrats, like knockoff when they were the superheroes and supposed to be the Fantastic Four, and I think it's Lil. Lil is dotted line girl, and Angela like punches her in the face or something, and she's like, "How can you see me? I don't understand." And Angela just goes, "Because you're a bunch of dotted lines, idiot!" Like,
Nice.
good time. I love that show. Good show.
Very
Shout out
good.
to Rugrats.
All right.
See, when
So
you're talking about the hand showing up, it made me think of the. I think it's like Kermit getting an X-ray, and he's like, "Hey, could you just get your hand out of there? Could you take your hand out of there, please?"
Oh, Kermit. Shout out to Kermit.
Kermit the Frog here.
Kermit the Frog here.
All right. So Chuck, out of 10, what do you give this?
All right. Is this a Fantastic Four movie? By all accounts, yes. It is slightly boring, much like most of their stories. I will say this: I actually didn't hate this as much as I was expecting. I also don't think I actually ever saw it the first time, so this may have been my first watch. If I watched it before, I definitely was not paying attention to it and don't remember a lot of it. It's not a good story. It's not even a good movie. It's a perfectly fine movie.
Oh
Um,
wow!
it's
I
a
haven't
I
had
haven't
a
seen
while.
those in a while.
it's a perfectly fine mid-tier, mid-card, middle of the road superhero movie that, as per usual, this felt like the 2000s, and that it was a convoluted thing that clearly had a bunch of rewrites and got a bunch of reshoots, and they tried to Frankenstein a movie together with everything that they were doing. But I remember people acting like this was the death of superhero movies, and it was not that bad. And I think we all just need to fucking shut up for a little bit about how terrible something is every time it comes out. Because 10 years later, rewatching it, man, we've seen a lot worse. It's like since this movie has come out
Yeah.
that has like ruined movies for us. Like the Justice League movie's right there. So like
You're not wrong. You're not wrong. 2 years later. 2
the
years later.
Snyder Cut is right
Fuck
there.
off.
You know what I
Fuck
mean?
off.
Hey, he hasn't worn the shirt yet. We're allowed to say it.
Yeah, I can.
You
Yeah.
don't know. You don't know. You haven't
You would have,
seen?
if he had, you would have posted it everywhere, Joey.
Yeah,
I would.
You know what? I will pay him a compliment. I'm going to give Zack Snyder a compliment right now. I have only ever heard people go, well, if you think that you can do it better, then why don't you write the movie and go do it? And Zack Snyder has done that time and time again. It's just not been as good. I look at Rebel Moon and I say, this is Star Wars. You just missed the mark, buddy. So I give him credit because people told him, well, if you think you can go do it better, then why don't you go do it? And he fucking went and did it. He stood 10 toes, he stood on that business and he did it. All right. So I give him credit. That being said, this movie is terrible. It wasn't the worst. I'm never gonna watch it again though. But I don't think it needs. I am for your birthday. I'm not going to give you a strike. Happy birthday, Joe. By the way.
Thank you.
I'm going to say 4.19. Like I still had fun. Granted, I was painting the entire time, so I was like half watching it. But the entire time I was like, this is not as bad as ever. I was expecting to give this thing like a 1. It was not that bad. Everybody needs to shut up a little bit. Now, Ron, tell me why I'm wrong.
So okay, I did not find this movie good. Like I was not. I mean, there wasn't even that much of an entertainment value. Again, I watched this movie by myself again, which also hurts the scores every time, I think, because I don't have somebody here to, laugh at my stupid jokes I make, except for me, and I just sound like a psychopath. The cats don't think it's funny, but fuck them, they don't have a sense of humor. But like, it didn't have a good storyline. The acting and, like Joey said, the chemistry of the characters was terrible. And I don't know if that had to do with the actual actors or the way that
it was the actors. Apparently, Miles Teller, Reed Richards,
and that, like, Penn and Teller's kid?
No. And the director apparently almost got in a fist fight. Kate Mara Sue was she felt hostility the entire time. Like she had felt hostility toward her the entire time on set.
Yeah, she seems like it too.
Like
she looks like an abuse victim the whole time she's up there.
Yeah, like nobody had a good time filming this at all.
I get the vibe like that the guy who plays Reed is a fucking asshole.
Yeah, I get that same feeling with every movie I think he's been in that I've seen.
Yeah, but also he plays the character who's kind of a fucking asshole. So I don't know if he's typecasted or if they're just like method acting. I don't know, but
anyway. But either way, I wasn't, like I said, I wasn't impressed with the characters. I was kind of disappointed again that we didn't get costumes for the characters, like good costumes. I mean, you shouldn't be swinging rock everywhere you go. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And Doom was a waste of time. It was stupid. It was a dumb storyline. It was a poorly put together plot device, and I will never watch this movie again either. I was not quite as nice as Chuck was. I gave it a 3.04 because, of course, I'm not going to watch this movie again.
It's actually more generous than I would expect, but.
What about you, Joey?
So I did see this in theaters when it came out. I was under the when I remember hearing oh, this movie's gonna be trash, you shouldn't go see it. But I have always and will always be under the impression of I'm gonna make my own opinion. I'm gonna go see this movie. I'm gonna go make my own opinion because I do not care what people think. I want to see it. I want to actually, form my own opinion like I should, like people should, Tommy. But I'm going to.
Hey, he forms his own opinion as soon as somebody gives it to him, all right?
As soon as he sees it on YouTube. No. Love you, brother. I know you're not listening, but love you anyway. So he this is one I saw in theaters, and I remembered because I hadn't seen this since theaters, and I'm like, oh yeah, you know what? I remember the first 2 acts being strong, but the third act being a mess. rewatching it now, and I'm not completely wrong. Like I said, the first act was good, second act was okay ish, third act was still terrible. Knowing now that the actors, like I said, like the chemistry on set was just terrible. The backdrop, everybody was just hostile on set. Everything was just terrible on set. Like, that's not great. It definitely makes for a terrible work environment. The fact that everything was just, from the get-go was just stacked against them. The whole reason this movie got made was so that it would not revert back to Marvel. And then it got back to Marvel anyway because, they bought 20th Century Fox. Apparently, it was the Marvel approached Fox to buy this, but they decided to hold on to this and sell them the rights to Daredevil, which is why they made the Daredevil TV show over at Netflix. So actually was a good thing.
Yeah, that was an awesome show.
Yeah. And then the new one that came out on...
I haven't made it all the way through the...
Dude, so good. Anyway.
I haven't even started it. Maybe I'll watch that on Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah. The season, the whole
maybe
season.
Maybe I did watch the season a month ago. maybe.
I love time travel.
Time travel is great. But that being said, like, because of all that, because of the bad edits, like with the reshoots and them not actually editing it right, like you could tell how bad it was. Like even Sue, she had the actress Kate Mara had dyed her hair, I think, for a different role, so they put a wig on her, and you could tell.
Yeah,
because it's bad.
Yeah,
like it's just they just didn't care. Like they just did not care, and that really sucks. But there are some good qualities in this movie. Like I mean, they did try, a little bit. Like I said, the first act. Anyway, the movie tried. It's definitely a movie I'm not going to watch probably ever again. But it is what it is. I gave it a 3.93. Which gives us a combined score of 3.72. And that will drop it in out of 153 movies at number 120. Just behind Nick Fury, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. at a 3.8. And just above Street Fighter 2, the animated movie, at a 3.63.
Interesting. I was not here for Nick Fury, but I was here for Street Fighter 2.
Were you not here for Nick Fury?
No.
Oh, I thought you were.
I don't think so. I don't know. I'd have to go back and look, but that's in a whole nother book. So
no, I came on when you guys started doing Batman, and you had already done Nick Fury by then. So
one was a interesting one.
That's a good.
That's with Hasselhoff.
Yep.
Yeah. Yikes, that's scary. It's fine. It's fine in there. I think it's in good company of a bunch of movies I'm never gonna rewatch or I'll watch for the first time.
Yeah, I mean it could have been worse. Like again, like you said, Chuck, like the whole internet was dogging on this movie because it wasn't.
Yeah, they were acting like it's the apocalypse.
Yeah,
See, I went out and bought the movie because I didn't watch it in theaters, but I went out and bought it. Walmart had it in like a $7 bin or something, and I bought it and I watched it the first time and I was like, oh, it's like, well, I'm kind of glad that I didn't watch this in theaters because I would have been disappointed in it, but also,
yeah, that's true. Hey, you know where you can find me? You can find me on the internet, Kicked Out of the Hood, No Ian Kicked. You can find my hobby page where I am deep into Mordheim Summer. I'm playing Mordheim. We're having a great time. I'm playing Undead, man. Am I running 13 zombies? I am. Is it a good idea? No. In fact, I was dogged on by the Mordheim community for running 13 zombies, but I don't care. I'm gonna do it anyway because it's funny to me. If you play Mordheim, you would know it's not a good idea. So you can find me over there, kicked out of the hobby, no E and kicked. And you, more importantly, can find me and Joey at the end of the month right here on this feed, the Getting Franchise Show, where we review the latest and greatest in movie franchises. Of course, we're still finishing out Horror Corner. At time of release, we've already talked with Ron about My Bloody Valentine, or we're about to talk to Ron about My Bloody Valentine.
That was last month.
That was last month.
My Bloody Valentine came out like recently.
So okay, My Bloody Valentine came out the day we're recording this.
Yeah.
It did?
Yeah, it came out today.
Yeah.
I literally dropped it today.
Oh, that's weird. I refreshed my app like a bunch of times. I didn't get anything. Are you sure it's not next week?
No, this is the last Sunday.
Okay.
Yeah, it just dropped 17 hours ago.
Okay, maybe my app. My podcast app is kind of dumb.
Okay.
But hey, so like a month ago, Ron and Joe and I talked about My Bloody Valentine. In fact, I'm wearing the shirt, man, because that's how much I love Ron. I'm wearing the shirt. Yeah. Also, I got sauce on my other shirt, and this was right there, so I threw it on.
Also fair.
Yeah, it's a good shirt. It's fucking comfortable, and I love it. And I love Ron, so I'm gonna wear it anytime I can. Oh, did drop? Okay, good. Well, now I got something to listen to at the gym tomorrow. That's exciting. That being said, the Getting Franchise, check it out now. Hey, guess what? Guess what you're gonna hear? What are you? What? Wow! What did we?
Dude, I don't know what's next. I don't know what we did next. I don't remember.
Wow, I don't remember.
We talked about
whatever it was, get excited about it. You know what I mean? Hey, go listen to the episode that Joe and Ron and I did, and listen all the way to the end to find out what I said we were watching. Because I don't remember.
Oh! It was Dawn of the Dead.
Oh shit!
Yeah!
Wow! Yeah, the controversial episode, they will say,
coming out in 2 days at the time of this release.
At time of release, hey, in 2 days, you are going to hear probably one of the most controversial hot takes ever from our show on that. And I'm not going to tell you who said it, and I'm not going to tell you what we said, but I can tell you probably are going to get real super mad about it. So check that out. Ronald, where can they find you?
You can find me on Instagram, TikTok, and Blue Sky at Good This Game. You can find my art on Instagram at Good Art This Game. You can also find it on Chuck's Chest, as well as on TeePublic and Redbubble. And you can find me right here on this podcast. Joey?
Yeah, you can.
Mainly TeePublic. You guys can find the show on all the socials at Comic Book Rundown. You can email us comicbookrundown@gmail.com. You can also watch us on YouTube. Just search up Comic Book Rundown. We have got.
If you guys aren't watching us, you guys are missing seeing Chuck every time we're on here. So, like, watch it.
You are missing me chug so much fucking liquid during this fucking show. That's
right, but you can watch his throat moving while he does it. It's so hot.
Yeah, that is actually true. Yeah, you can watch me not only get scared when my mom comes through the door, but when Ron's kid pops up in the back and I think it's my screen, and I get scared thinking he's behind me. So,
those are good. Those are good times.
Man.
Yeah, like Ron said, we got merch over at Redbubble, TeePublic. We Getting Franchise at the end of the month. Comic Book Rundown. I think I finally figured out a schedule for that. So I think I'm doing a 3-month drop. So like we'll do episodes for 3 months, skip a month, and then 3 more months, and then skip a month. So I will have an episode in May. So you guys have already listened to that. Have an episode in June coming up. So the time this episode drops, there'll be another episode, and then an episode next month, and then skip a month. Because I think I finally figured out how to do this again. And then and then our song was done by the Father Doctor, formerly known as Cam.
Hey, look at that. First try.
Hey, I did it.
Hey.
Yeah.
So what's our next movie there, Joey?
Our next movie. So this one is I think it's gonna be a fun one. It is the 40th anniversary of this movie. So I figure, why the hell not? It's a movie that I actually enjoy. I think it's a movie you both like. I could be wrong. I don't know. But it is Back to the Future.
Oh.
Oh shit!
Yeah.
Holy
yes.
shit.
It makes me feel very old that the movie is
Right?
40 years old.
Yeah.
I love Back to the Future, but I have not watched it in a long time. So
it's been a few years, maybe about 5-ish years since I've seen the whole. Because I usually, if I watch one, I watch all three.
I mean,
Like
yeah,
I can't just
right.
watch one; I have to watch all three.
Yeah.
But like,
I will say this: I like 2 better than I like 1, so I will be very interested to see how I feel about this.
Okay. Well, we're gonna watch all 3 in the next 3 months. So.
Right.
Sweet.
Yeah. But yeah. So Back to the Future next month or next week. So
that's heavy.
Yeah. Thanks.
Great, Scott.
All right, everybody. Thank you all for listening, and we'll catch you next time.
Bye.
Great Scooby-Doo.